We planted a vineyard of muscadines. Uncle Alfred and I put our heads together and thought, what can we do with this old runway on the airport farm? And it drained well, and we had done a lot of research about muscadines being really, really popular in other parts of the country, but not as popular necessarily here in Texas. And so we thought, let's try it. They are supposed to be easy to grow. They're super hardy, really well equipped for our environment. And if we worked hard in establishing a market, it would probably work.
We've taken this old crop dusting airport. We're planting actually on the runway. It's about a mile long, and we're gonna grow muscadine grapes. All pick your own. All right, so we're out here at our new site where we're gonna put our muscadine vineyard. Our rows are gonna be 10 foot apart, and in the row they're gonna be 20 foot apart.
So they're kind of hard to see because they're bare root, just little sticks, but we did plant the grapes today. So let's take a look at them. So these are muscadine hybrid grapes. They will be used for U-pick here on the farm. So we're pretty excited about them. We were really lucky early on to get quite a bit of rain, which really made these plants grow very quickly.
All right, so we're back out here in our muscadine field. We're gonna build an H-frame here. The top wire, we'll use one top wire, 5 foot across. We're gonna put these T-posts probably about a foot away from each vine. These vines will be brought up and held up by a bamboo stake up to 5 foot, and we'll cut it here. One of the laterals will go out to the left, one will go to the right 10 foot. So hopefully we'll have our scaffold made by this time next year.
So the grapes that were planted last week are going to start getting their trellis.
So what we're going to do, Tyler, we're going to come in here. We'll put this, just make a little H brace here. Cut this here. Put our 2 cross pieces of wire on it. Cut it off to 5 foot. That'll be our top wire.
We're back out at the grapes. You can see the trellises are getting finished up. Each vine gets one of these protective sleeves and a bamboo, and then it is topped so that we can send one out that way and one out that way. It's looking pretty good. We'll look to finish these by probably the end of next week. The biggest challenge that we faced at first was that we didn't run irrigation right off the bat here at this farm. We were super busy with strawberry season, getting ready for it, and so we got the irrigation in a little bit later than we probably should have. But it did start to dry out, and we realized very quickly that we would need to run irrigation, and so we did. So we finally got irrigation ran on the grapes. When we first planted them, we were getting just a ton of rain. But it's been a little dry, so we got irrigation ran, and they're starting to look pretty good. Looking real good. Me and Adam are out here pruning grapes, and I notice And it's still early. I'll probably cut it off anyway, but looky there. Little grapes. Most of our time in the vineyard was spent pruning. Now, pruning looked different week by week by week. Me and Adam are coming through and continuing to train and prune the grapes. You can see a lot of them. We're really getting some nice laterals going on them. He's working on a good one right now. Looking good. All right, here we go. Round number 3 on the grapes.
Yeah,
We're gonna tie them up. We got our string.
Yes, new boots.
New boots. And they're starting to look really good. We're getting a nice shape on them. So we've gotten a lot of them into some really decent shapes. We're gonna keep going that way. Keep going that way. It's even a little bloom right here. Oh, and a pollinator. How about that? All right, this is our 4th tying and pruning of the grapes, and you can see, man, they're really coming along. We got lots of beautiful growth. It's gonna look like a whole new orchard or whole new vineyard when we're done. So we've gotten about 80% of the orchard to have both cordons going across our guy wire, and they just look so good. Today we're focused on all of our fruiting sprouts, topping them because our cordons are not 10 feet down. Once they get 10 feet down, we'll top the cordons, and we'll actually, like next year, we'll let these grow out. But it just feels good when you've put so much work into something, and they just look so good. I always feel like an artist whenever we're pruning grapes because every grapevine is different. And of course, like this grape has fruit down here, and some people in like a garden setting might not remove it, but we're definitely going to remove it, making sure we're leaving our one leaf here. All right, another day of pruning and tying. We got our work cut out for us today. This should be the 5th time we've touched the vineyard. So 5th time we've came through and pruned and tied. You can see a lot of vines are doing really good, working their way up. Some of our vines, we still have a little bit to go. They all kind of have their own personality and minds of their own. So let's get started. We're getting our signs laid out today. What variety we got there, Dusty?
Ham.
They're looking good. I saw you trip over that.
What?
Now we just gotta hang them. All right, Dusty, how are the signs going?
Good.
You feel like they look pretty good?
I do.
All right, all of our signs are up in the vineyard. They look pretty good. We're leaving the circles blank. A row number will eventually go on there, but we're still gonna add to the end of both sides of the runway. And so once we have every row in, then we'll go back and add the row numbers. This is where it really started to get fun for me because I would generally bring someone different with me depending on what we were doing and the type of pruning we were doing, whether we were just kind of cleaning things up or actually doing some pretty hardcore shaping in the vineyard. All right, this time in the field, we started on the opposite side of the vineyard and worked our way down to where we normally start. This is usually the first vine I pruned, and today it was the last. But as always, making lots of progress. Adam, the French exchange student, went back to France, and so my cousin Heston is out helping me. I'm pruning, he's tying. Got about 14 vines left to be done, and then we'll be back out in a week. You can tell, if you look down the way, how far the vineyard has come. They're growing beautiful. It's also getting hot in Texas, but that's okay. All right, we're back in the grapes this morning. They're looking good. You can see, I mean, now it's just like on cruise control. We are pruning and tying up and just waiting for them to get to the ends. So they're looking really good. Well, there's a few grapes. We're back at it, but we've grown a bit. We're looking good. I got Nick out here helping me prune. He's been with the farm, what, a little over a year, huh? Since last fall, so almost a year.
About a year.
He's a great man today. Just getting started. So our goal is for these vines to go 10 feet out in each direction. So 10 foot would be there. And then we went ahead and put a T-post at 10 foot that way. So when that vine reaches there, we'll top it. And when that vine reaches here, we'll top it. It also helps give a little bit more support to the guy wire. So it's a measuring tool and a support tool. Well, that one's ready. Got a few grapes on here. Looking good. Just cut the wrong branch. Literally cut the whole leader off that end. Don't get in a hurry when you're pruning. Nice and easy. We even saw fruit. I mean, year one. That's pretty exciting. So while we're gonna chalk the first year up as a success, what we would invite you to do is come back at the end of next year and see what it's like. We have a feeling that our yields are gonna be impressive on this little muscadine vineyard. Well, let's pick our first grapes. Very delicious.